Why are you not getting insights from therapy, from talk therapy? You've been going maybe for weeks, months. A lot of my clients had been going for years of therapy, maybe trying different therapists, trying different modalities of therapy, searching for the insights that they're looking for, trying to get an understanding. And I do believe that talk therapy can give you understanding. It can be very helpful to talk out loud. And as you're talking out loud, you have to organize your thoughts in some type of logical manner that makes more sense of the whole situation. Or as you're talking, you discover something that you didn't know was there, like an insight. Clients that come to me have been looking for these huge insights from therapy, and they're thinking that the therapist should be part of those insights, maybe being a catalyst for those insights, but it's not happening in the way that the client wants. Those big insights that can jump from one side of the Grand Canyon all the way to the other. And I think that this is where my clients go wrong, is they're looking to the therapist for something that the therapist isn't there to provide. Quite a few of my clients say that all they really did was validate and paraphrase what I was saying. And really, that's what they're there for. They're there to listen, to give you unconditional positive regard for whatever you're going through, whatever you're thinking. And that is what they think is the key to change. That is the condition that's necessary for change, but they're not there to give you insight. And this is why some of my clients are disappointed with therapy, talk therapy, because they were hoping for understanding. They were hoping for insights that they couldn't quite get to solve their problem. And understanding, if you want to ride a bike, understanding isn't enough. Okay. You can read all the user manuals about balancing, pedaling, steering, braking. You can watch videos on YouTube about how to ride a bike. But when it comes down to a choice, you will choose your old way of being because that understanding didn't enable you to actually get on the bike and ride it to where you wanted to go. And so understanding can only get you so far. It can make you feel good about riding a bike. You understand logically, but outside of the session, you can't ride a bike to get you to where you want to go. So you think understanding can get you there, and you're wondering why understanding isn't helping you get on a bike and ride it to the destination that you desire. So with certain types of problems, logic and understanding can only get you so far. And they can get you far because there are problems that you have that can be solved by understanding, by logic. It's purely a logical, do this, A plus B equals C type of problem. And then you move on with your life. But there are types of problems that have a traumatic or emotional aspect to them. And this emotional aspect is what is stumping you in your search for logic and understanding to resolve that emotional issue, because logic and understanding can't solve emotions. They can't solve emotional problems. You need something else that's there. You're trying to make it from one side of the Grand Canyon to the other using just logic and understanding. That doesn't work. You need some type of a bridge or something that will actually carry you over to the other side, because the other side is too far away. And so what accelerated hypnotherapy does is, inside of your session, you actually learn how to ride a bike you experience riding a bike. You actually get on the bike, learn how to balance, pedal, steer, and brake on the bike, so that after your session, when you have your maladaptive pattern or you have this new method to get you to where you really want to go and quickly, you do have a choice now. Because before, even though the bike was there, it wasn't really a choice. So that's why you come out of talk therapy and it doesn't really occur to you as a choice because you really don't know how to ride that bike. But in hypnotherapy, I don't need to give you any understanding or help you understand the situation. You don't even have to tell me about the situation. All you have to do is think for yourself about the situation. I don't even need to know. And if it's really traumatic, maybe that's better. Maybe trauma is better handled without talking about it because you can't sometimes put words around your emotions. That's why they're feelings. That's why you feel them in your body. You can say you're sad, but maybe I'm sad too, but it's not the same thing. Okay, you're very sad. That doesn't describe the depth of the, I can't even describe it right now, but if you're feeling it right now, then when you say sad, you can feel that complex emotional feeling that is captured in the word sadness for you, but it doesn't quite capture it because logic and understanding and don't give you access to those emotional aspects or resolving those emotional aspects. So I can talk about that a bit later, but for now, in hypnosis, I don't need to hear about your problem, but I do need you to connect with that feeling. And if that feels scary to you, then this might be part of your problem is that resistance and suppression of that emotion. But inside of an accelerated hypnotherapy session, you can experience whatever you need to experience, and you can do that gently and easily with the help of your superconscious mind that knows exactly what to do, and it has the resources for you to handle whatever you need to handle to get to the other side. And some clients come trying to get more understanding. These are the clients who have done years of therapy with different therapists, trying to find that therapist that will give them what they need. But perhaps it's like that vehicle that just can't get you to that insight that you're actually wanting to arrive at. No matter which vehicle you get into, there's only so much gas. It can only get you so far. And so they come to hypnotherapy wanting understanding. But what I would suggest is that if you come to a hypnotherapy session, that you let go of what it is that you think that you need that hasn't worked before. And just go with whatever your subconscious mind has in store for you there. Because I don't I just connect you to your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind takes us to wherever you need to go to find that insight and really ultimately to find that healing of whatever it is that you experienced in the past that's keeping you from moving forward. And so inside of the session, you will learn how to ride a bike and you'll experience it and your brain will actually change. You will have these neural pathways of you can revisit because you know how to ride a bike now. You have actually had the experience, not just the understanding, but the experience of riding a bike. And this is what happens in hypnotherapy. After the session, my clients have choice where there was no choice, where there was just this loop in their brain of thinking and doing and behaving and reacting. And now they actually have a choice. There's this bike, this shiny new bicycle that they can get on and ride to where it is they wanted to go, where they've been desiring to go all along. And it'll occur to you as an actual choice. You'll pause for a moment, and you can always choose your pattern. You can always choose the past. But this new choice that you experienced and learned in an accelerated hypnotherapy session You'll actually have that choice to take you to where you really want to go. And so that session where you're learning is actually the bridge between where you are now to the other side. But it's not understanding that can make that jump. It's your subconscious mind that can guide you across, and you can get those insights. Because those insights aren't logical, they're exponential. All of a sudden you get it, and that getting it, that insight, is what can help you get on the bike next time you're in that crossroad. So if you've been looking for insights, been trying to solve your problem with understanding, and it's been weeks or months, hopefully it's not been years, but that doesn't mean that your problem cannot be solved. You just need a different tool. You need a different puzzle piece that's been missing to solve that problem. And a lot of times what happens is, as you try to solve this problem with logic and understanding inside of some type of talk therapy, it might even be worse now than when you started. Because there's this new layer of anxiety of, why can't I fix this? I need to fix this. I better fix this. This is holding me back. I need to get rid of it. Now you have all of that on top of your original trauma or original experience. And this is what's referred to as iatrogenic injury or iatrogenic harm. What you're doing to try to help has unintentionally caused harm. So if you think about that emotional aspect to your problem, has it got worse by what you were doing that you were trying to help? Has it gotten worse? Is it more complex? Is that emotional? All that stuff that's underneath the problem, has it been spreading its roots to other areas of your life? Maybe work, maybe you have that anxiety now, that original trauma is now maybe affecting your work or your relationships. It easily slides into your relationships, bringing that anxiety and that frustration, that irritability into your relationships. Or maybe you're afraid that it's going to start to affect your social life because you sense that it is to some degree, and you don't want it to completely devastate, annihilate your social life. And don't get me wrong, I love psychotherapy. I love talk therapy. It is the first thing I go to when I have a problem, when something has happened to me that's out of the ordinary, like this little blip in my life of high anxiety, of all that bad stuff, 10 out of 10 bad stuff. I go see a therapist and I try to work it out with logic and understanding. And often that helps, but there are some things like, for instance, when I found out my ex was cheating, that I went to, sometimes I would do like a emergency therapy session with anybody, like any therapist who would listen, as well as talking to my friends and family and anyone who would listen. Once I got that completed, once I had put that in the past, logically with my understanding, but there was still this underlying emotional mess of feeling connected to somebody who's been lying to you, who's been cheating, who's been doing all this stuff behind your back and appearing as a different person. You have feelings and connection emotionally to that person who you thought they were, but you know that's not the person who they really are. And that can really mess you up emotionally. And so even though you understand was a facade, this wasn't the relationship that you thought it was, it can still mess you up emotionally. You can still be attached, even though your understanding and your logic makes it ridiculous for you to be attached to this person because you understand what was happening now. But there's that underlying emotional element to it that's complex, that's keeping you stuck in the past, not trusting people, not trusting dates. Maybe you're going on dates because you feel like you understand this now, but there's that emotion underneath it that's something that's holding you back from living your best life and getting into that relationship that you know that you've always wanted. And that's when hypnotherapy can actually help get you out of those grooves that talk therapy kind of gets you into these grooves. Talking to people puts this neural groove into your mind because you're probably talking about it the same way. You probably have the pat way of telling people about it, telling new people about it. This is what I say. There's this groove in your mind, and that groove is very hard to get out of, in addition to complex emotional stuff that's going on underneath it. So it wasn't actually resolved for me. Being with someone who was cheating wasn't actually resolved for me or complete. I could wrap it up, put it into the past until I did hypnotherapy. And it's that hypnotherapy that was really what healed my soul, healed that emotional element that resolved that. And so I learned how to be single and I learned how to be healthy from that, from those sessions, so that when I went on a date, I could actually feel abundant, even though I had wasted years with this guy and I needed to get on with my life. I could actually take my time and enjoy the experience and feel that abundance of dating. And I dated a lot and I dated different men and I didn't feel rushed. And it really gave me this ability to choose the best person for me so that I wouldn't end up in that same pattern again, that maladaptive pattern that if you're aware of it, you will see that pattern in your life. And all the understanding of that pattern doesn't always get you out of it. Sometimes it keeps you in it by talking about it, by reinforcing it through those neural pathways. So if you've tried everything, nothing's worked, it might have made things a little bit worse or a lot worse. Now you have anxiety, about your problem. It's time to solve the problem with the tools that can actually work to get you from one side to the other, to give you those experiences that you need to be able to make those choices, those empowering choices that will get you to where you really want to be outside and after the session. And so a New Year's coming up. Make this your year.